See, Mark O'Connell's up first. He says, hi guys, hope you're doing great. First of all, I would like to say thank you for all your hard work you guys put in. It's of extreme high quality, and I've learned a ton of very useful information from the SM crew. Oh, +1 that. With your information, Humpdays and IFTTT courses, I got my first lead gen site to number 17 in 6 or 7 weeks. Brand new domain for a roofing term, which is very exciting. So thanks for that. Well, congratulations, Mark. That's awesome. 17 is not where you want to be yet, but it's certainly it's definitely a jump in the right, step in the right direction. So my question is about the value of less powerful but highly relevant links. I've watched every Humpday Hangout, and I have heard you talk about a lot about relevance. I have found 2 citation sites that are specific to the area I'm trying to rank in, but these are not powerful sites like Yelp or Yell, for example. Are these 2 sites worth it? And if so, would you advise adding these 2 location-specific citations to my schema, same as attribute in my header? Thanks. Mark, yes, absolutely. Hyper-local citations are incredibly powerful, regardless of what the domain metrics are. Don't worry about that. And this is kind of what we've been kind of preaching, especially in the last few months. And Marco is really adamant about this. Is don't worry so much about metrics. It's more about relevancy, guys. And hyper local citation sources are oftentimes have more of an effect on your local rankings than the big sites do, like Yelp, for example. And it's because they're hyper local, and Google knows that. And so getting listed in like hyper local business directories, like maybe municipal type, what do they call them? The newspapers that are like, for local cities. They're usually really small types of cities. There's what do they call, like coffee news, and those kind of rags that you can pick up free that are usually print publications, but they have an online aspect as well. Those are very, very powerful type of citations. Again, the metrics don't say so, but as far as the effect that they have on ranking locally, there are. There's a few other ones that are even like national type sites. For example, Topics, Topix, is a site that's kind of like a national, it's a forum type site, but it's like hyper local. Another one is Pulse. I think it's Pulse. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but there's several of those types of sites out there that actually starting a thread in your local area, which sometimes it's on a subdomain with like a city subdomain and that kind of stuff, starting a thread in one of those forums and dropping a link or a citation, name, address, and phone number is very, very powerful. So absolutely, I would say, Mark, it's definitely worth your time. And in fact, we mentioned this Marketer Center, which is a reseller, kind of a white label service that you can purchase citations from. Andrew Scherer, he's the guy that runs that. It's a great service. I use it quite a bit. They have a package specifically for hyperlocal citations. Now, they've scraped their own list, and they'll do a little bit of research up front for when you like put in your name, address, and phone number details when you're ordering the citations. They'll do a little bit of research and try to find some local directories that they can list to. And they've already compiled a big list of local directory type stuff instead of just the big national directories. They have the big brands, the big citations, they call it. But they also have the hyperlocal citations, and that's kind of a 1-2 punch. I always order the big citations and hyperlocal citations right off the bat. And then like I said, if you have somebody on your own team, or even if you do it yourself, to actually go out and try to hunt down business directories that are specific to your area only. The 2 most powerful types of citations, I mean, the big citations are important, guys. That's kind of like standard operating procedure. But trying to find city-specific, or like I said, hyper-local business directories to list on, as well as niche-specific directories, like, for example, like a plumber-only directory, or a landscaping-only directory. Those are also very, very powerful. And again, it doesn't matter what the metrics say. I can tell you from experience that just using those types of directories that are so targeted, very, very specific, are going to have a huge impact on your ranking. You want to comment on that?
Before we move on from this hyperlocal, just so you guys know, we're doing an RYS update webinar on Friday for members only, and it's in the Facebook group. So make sure you get in there and let me know that you want to attend. It's not going to be recorded, absolutely not, because the stuff that I'm sharing it's stuff that I've been working on, that I've been looking through, and this is just for the RYS group, but it's regarding this. It's just how to give more local relevancy to a map. So that's what we'll be getting into Friday.
Wait till we get to Paul's comment up here. We'll get to that in a few minutes, because that's pretty exciting. So
on the same, sorry, Bradley, but on the same topic, like from local or finding really good local backlinks, I've had good results with using blue chip backlinks for this, like scraping a local directory, for example, or some sort of local, local website or newspaper, as you were saying. And sometimes they would be really, really open to it to get you featured on it if you're a local company. But sometimes you can get, domains with zero metrics, but they have a couple of backlinks from, they have a couple of backlinks from these, local directories or local newspapers, and just 301 at that. You will notice a nice boost. So you can combine that with the hyperlocal citations and finding scraping, with blue chip backlinks or something similar, and getting some domains to 301. Do not go crazy with this, but it's really powerful.
Yeah, and that's what I just pulled this up while you started mentioning that, Hernan, because that's a great point. And that's one way that we do it as well, is just go search for, like, I'm just using Atlanta as an example here, guys, but put your city name in, or municipality, even if it's a smaller area, right? Put your city name in business directory, and then just scrape or grab the URLs from the first two. And in fact, you can do this in blue chip backlinks, what's called the SERP sweeper.
Yep.
But just grab all the business directory URLs and drop them into your domain crawler. Preferably you're using blue chip backlinks, but whatever domain crawler you use, and drop all these business directory URLs in there and let it crawl, because that's true. I mean, first you want to go ahead and try to get a citation on those local directories anyways, like an actual citation that you go get your business listed. And a lot of those are, it's not something I recommend that you do yourself. You can outsource that kind of stuff, and I recommend that that's what you do, because it's tedious work. It's just data entry. It's pretty dumb. It's not fun, let's put it that way, but it's very powerful. But at the same time, you can also, like Hernan just said, find broken backlinks on these directory sites and just pick them up for dirt cheap and use them. And even if they're not like industry specific, which most likely they're not going to be, you can still use them for like deep links or links to inner pages or blog posts and that kind of stuff. And it's going to help boost because of the local relevancy. It doesn't have to be, even if it was a link from a business that went out of business and it's still listed on the directory, you'd say, well, I don't want to screw up my NAP by, buying the expired domain and then having it point over to mine, and then confusing Google because it's at the, it's the link at the bottom of an NAP from a different business, but it's redirecting to my site. Well, that's why you could use a buffer site, or you could run it to an IFTTT property or something like that, or just link it to like a blog post from your money site, because you're still pushing local relevancy into your domain at that point. And that's really, really effective. So it's a great question, Mark. As far as the same as attribute, yeah, you can. If it's, again, I would only use the same as attribute for those listings if you have your own NAP listed on there, not like a scraped domain or a purchased expired domain. I wouldn't do that, but I would absolutely use the same as if you have your own listing URL. So like if you get your own page URL on that directory, then yes, you can list that as a same as attribute.